Good evening, teacher Ruen Munoz. It's a pleasure for me present my research project titled Space Repetition as an Strategy to Optimize Vocabulary Retention in a Second Language Acquisition in High School Students in IE in Secolsas. Okay. Okay. One question. What is project? Well, this project was born from a real need. 11th grade students are completing their final year and should graduate with a solid level of English. Okay, however, many of them forget vocabulary quickly, yes, which negatively impacts their performance and participation in class, right? As a teacher, my greatest satisfaction is to provide a quality education. That's why I decided to implement a strategy that is proven to work and can be applied within the classroom setting. Okay? Research purpose. In this part, the proposed solution is to implement spell repetition supported by technology to strengthen memory, motivation, and contextualize learning, right? This project aligns with CDG for promoting inclusive, active, and replicable education, right? Research question and objectives. This project also aims to foster autonomic, meaningful learning and effective use of technology aligned with a modern educational model such as TPAC, right? Sustentacion framework. Yes, this research is based on key insights from various authors, right? This foundation supports not only the use of tech of space repetition, but also the need for motivating a student-centered and contextualized approach at the very aim of this project, right? The most important, what is a space repetition? Spell repetition is a technique based on how human memory works. Vocabulary is reviewed at strategic intervals so the brain can consolidate it into long-term memory. Right? It's proven to be 95% effective when applied correctly. Okay? Theoretical framework. Wilhelm von Humboldt theory, yes, the lexical approach and TPAC model, combines technology, pedagogy, and content to design effective digital learning tools. These three approaches complement and strengthen the project by connecting vocabulary learning with thinking real-world use and technology, right? Methodology. This is a quantitative apply and explanatory study. Quantitative because it's a measure the impact using concrete data. Apply because it solves a real classroom issue. And explanatory, it explores why and how the strategy works. It compares before and after results to provide a reliable and practical analysis, right? Population and sample. The group was selected for its accessibility, relevance, and willingness enable real-life classroom application, right? Collection techniques and instruments. Direct observation and writing tests. These methods provide both quantitative data and real-time insights into the learning process. Okay? Observation process. Well, each session lasted 40 and 50 minutes, right? A shell leaks with simple yes or no. criteria was used to evaluate independent vocabulary review, students' interest, oral participation, vocabulary usage, and access to the apps. This helped track students' engagement, autonomy, and tool usage. Written test. Tests lasted about 30 minutes and were given before and after the intervention. Each question was awarded 1 point and incorrect answers were marked with 0. The test included vocabulary comprehension in context, word usage, matching, and short writing. Right? This instrument showed whether students actually understood and applied vocabulary learning through the spaced repetition. Implementation of digital tools. I have included 3 tools: Quizlet, Duolingo, and Cake. Each one has a distinct role in vocabulary retention and use as strategic ally to support the curriculum, not to replace grammar teaching. Yes, Quizlet is fully aligned with the school curriculum. I create sets based on the grammar topic of the week. Yes, irregular verbs for present perfect, it automatically and personally applies a space repetition. As an example, Duolingo is not the curriculum based, but it expands general vocabulary students complete daily tasks and at home, right? And I monitor their progress with a short weekly quizzes. And Cake is used occasionally to reinforce a real life expressions. It's not aligned but with the curriculum, but it's boosts pronunciation, listening skills, and natural vocabulary use through context. Right? Next. In a summary and specific way, I will implement each application of the next form. Duolingo will be used as a warm-up and for review activities both in class and at home, as helping students reinforce previous lessons. Cake will be implemented when the working on the routines, vocabulary, and expressions, aligning with the curriculum but not focused on grammar. Quizlet will be used for grammar and vocabulary based on the curriculum, and the rubric serving as a tool for quiz sets, topic-based activities. Together, they form a complementary strategy, curriculum expansion and real use. Data analysis. Pretest and post-test results were compared using percentages and tests to identify significant vocabulary improvement. Results were also broken down by question type, app usage, time, frequency, words learned, what reviewed to, and quantitative data was supported by classroom observations for a well-rounded as reviewed to. Quantitative data was supported by a classroom observations for a well-rounded view of effectiveness. Right? Expectation results. It's expected that the use of spell repetition with Quizlet, Cake, and Duolingo would significantly improve students' vocabulary retention and performance. Beyond vocabulary, this strategy aims to foster active participation, autonomy, basic communication skills, speaking, listening, and writing. As institutionalized, the goal is to adopt this approach and permanent method, aligning with TPAC and 21st century education. Academically, we expect both individual and group improvements reflected in a better internal and external evaluations. And Next, final conclusions. This study identified a real classroom issue. 11th grade students struggle to retain and use vocabulary affecting their communication and confidence in English. The intervention is use spaced repetition and digital tools. Quizlet, Cake, and Duolingo proved to be an effective pedagogical solution. It not only reinforced learning but also promoted autonomy, motivation, and contextual language use. Students respond positively to the tech integrate active approach. If optimized study time reinforced keywords and allowed personalized access to content. The project is aligning with TPHAC ensured institutional relevance. It also opens door wider methodological changes. Not just English, but across subjects. In short, space repetition is not just a technique. It's a transformative strategy for learning vocabulary in a more meaningful, yes, contextual and student-centered way. Thank you, teacher. Um, Thank you so much, teacher, for your attention.